Savage Dragon 55 from November of 1998. Savage Dragon is back, as the title would suggest here. No longer the Savage She-Dragon, but Amy is on the cover here, though, with a version of Dragon that is wearing a cape and cowl, similar to Batman. Lots of readers believe this to be kind of an homage to The Dark Knight Returns, with like a lightning bolt there and even the two characters kind of leaping. It's not identical, but it's definitely kind of giving Dark Knight vibes. On to the credits. Erik Larsen writes and draws, Chris Eliopoulos letters. And in a swerve here, Jim McLaughlin was shocked to find one of the Fat Randy chicks in his foursome was Josh Eckhorn. So that must be about golf or something. But Jim McLaughlin was one of the head honchos at Wizard Magazine. And I have no clue why his name was featured here. I'm kind of in the dark on that. So much like this opening page, 12 panels, all in the dark, except for like word balloons and a little sliver of light in the crack of the door. Then this kind of weird silhouette of this figure is revealed. This little dude is Simon Kane. So this guy goes back to Graphic Fantasy. Last issue we had X-Row 5, and he was kind of a throwback to Graphic Fantasy 1. Simon Kane here goes back to Graphic Fantasy 2 from the 80s. And he looks a lot different, but the name and the powers are the same. But yeah, so that's Simon Kane. He can like psychically control people, sending them into a murderous rage, which he will do later here. So the next 12 pages, there is a different subplot on every single page. So we're just going to blow through these. So let's go. Alex and Chris break up again. Oh, well. Then there's a reveal over here. Widow, the woman in purple, is grieving another hero that was killed last issue, Radical, because it turns out she is pregnant with his baby. Then, so Rita has been kidnapped, and the Chicago PD are looking around William's apartment, not really finding anything. Smasher quits the SOS. She-Dragon and Bludgeon are hanging out. The police are still useless, so Dragon and William initiate Plan D. Zeus bans Hercules to Earth without contact to his dad for 1,000 years. So he's just kind of cool with it. He's like, I'll see you in another 1,000 years. And then he'll be hanging out with Jennifer, I guess. So I guess that's why he's pretty cool with that. Then Powerhouse and his little goons, they track down the Overlord, the return of Overlord in this suit, but he escapes. Now Dragon tries on his new costume, and then immediately everybody starts going on a rampage. She-Dragon and Bludgeon start beating each other up. Brute Force makes a reappearance, and they start trying to kill each other. So, William and Dragon are basically like sharing the same body. So one's in control and one is kind of in his head. So William kind of hears this command, but Dragon is immune to it. So he sees, he has to fight Bludgeon here. These plot lines converge as, now Dragon notices that Kane is just walking down the street, not under the same spell as everybody else. So he makes a hell of an assumption and just takes a rock and throws it directly at the back of this dude's head. But he was right. It works. Everyone regathers their composure. They quit trying to kill each other. Over here, there's fewer members of SOS left, as Smasher just quit. I don't think Hercules is going to join the team. So Stevenson has recruited a new member, Mace, young tough himself. And he's nearly killed a few members of the SOS, so we'll see how that plays out next issue. On to Fanatics. First, Larsen explains this version of Dragon was inspired by like a childhood comic of his where William Johnson was the secret identity of the dragon. And I can include some pictures of that. We'll see if I can do that. Then there's about 5 pages of letters. mostly reaction to issue 53, and people seem to be enjoying the recent plot developments. And this is an interesting letter, actually. So this Derek Friedhoffs, he's a young artist looking for advice, and he asked a question about like comic book production and like shading film. And Larson explains where he finds his stuff and where to look, and he gives him some advice on that. And it looks like it helped because this guy would go on to become a successful comic book creator, starting at Marvel and Wolverine in the 2000s, and then writing and drawing like hundreds of other comics for DC. And I think he's still working today. So like that's pretty cool to see. We got a few more pages of letters, 5 pages, a couple pinups. The Megaton Man story, followed up with Desperate Times, which is already on issue number 4 of its own full-length series here. Next up is issue 56.